I am Sayanti from Purdue University Northwest. I performed this work in collaboration with NASA Intelligent Robotics Group while I was a postdoc at Colorado School of Mines. For humans to safely and successfully complete collaborative tasks with robots in safety-critical domains like space exploration, they must maintain situation awareness without being cognitively overloaded. This is true regardless of whether they are co-located with robots or interacting with them from thousands of millions of miles away. So how can robots in these domains enhance teammate situation awareness? Here's an idea. Imagine you are a PhD student and you are making a decision about your data analysis. You think you know exactly what the right analysis choice is. Nevertheless, you might ask your advisor for their opinion even though you are confident that you don't need it. By asking them, you are keeping them in the loop of what you are doing, and the fact that you are asking rather than telling means that they really need to listen and engage. We call this design strategy performative autonomy since the robot selectively performs lower level of autonomy than it thinks it's truly capable of. This strategy is somewhat inverse of adaptive autonomy, where an agent increases its autonomy to decrease or mitigate cognitive load, which comes at a cost of decreased situation awareness. So this suggests a potential downside for us. Since we are performing lower level of autonomy to increase situation awareness, this could result in higher cognitive load. It is also possible that performative autonomy could be effective only in those contexts that are not already imposing a higher mental workload. But we don't think this is the case. While an adaptive autonomy agent would need to consistently maintain high autonomy to decrease cognitive load, a performative autonomy agent would only have to periodically perform low autonomy again by asking unnecessary questions to keep their teammate in the loop. Because of this, we expect performative autonomy should increase situation awareness without imposing significant mental workload over the course of a task. We envision that robots could perform a variety of nuanced lower levels of autonomy by using different types of speech acts corresponding with different levels of dialogue autonomy. Level 6 dialogue autonomy would mean just taking an action without saying anything. Level 5 requests and commands would mean proposing and selecting a single option without an opportunity for veto. Level 4 statements and assertions would mean proposing and selecting a single option with an opportunity for veto. Level 3 suggestions would mean proposing a single option and awaiting confirmation. Level 2 yes/no questions would mean requesting confirmation of a single option. And Level 1 WH questions would mean requesting selection between multiple options. In our experiment, we specifically compared levels 6, 2, and 1, that is no dialogue, yes/no questions, and WH questions. In this first experiment, prolific co-workers engaged in an 8-minute cargo transport task in an online simulation of International Space Station. Participants viewed a robot's traversal of the International Space Station through a video window and were tasked with providing assistance if an obstacle prevented successful placement of cargo on a cargo berth. The video feed watched by participants was composed of a series of clips pre-recorded in Arvis. When participants monitored the robot and provided input, they participated in a secondary and-back task, a classical psychological method for imposing mental workload. This was a demanding task and made it difficult for the participants to continuously monitor the robot. We systematically varied the mental workload by varying the secondary and-back task with n set to 0, 1, and 2 corresponding to low, medium, and high workload conditions. Performative autonomy was manipulated in this experiment by changing the robot's communication when encountering a blocked berth every 100 seconds. In the performed high autonomy condition, the robot did not communicate and simply took the optimal corrective action. This served as a control condition. In the performed medium autonomy condition, the robot used a yes/no question to ask for confirmation on its decision before acting on it. If the user rejected the robot's suggestion, the robot followed up by asking for clarification between which option they would prefer. In the performed low autonomy condition, the robot directly used a WH question to ask for arbitration between multiple possible solutions without first making its own proposal. Situation awareness is measured by periodically asking the participants questions about their task environment. The correct answers are considered as evidence towards higher situation awareness, whereas perceived mental workload was measured by periodically asking participants to self-report their mental workload. We approached this experiment with 3 hypotheses. Specifically, we expected lower levels of autonomy to increase situation awareness, regardless baseline levels of imposed mental workload without increasing cognitive load. We ran this experiment with 263 participants using a between subjects design, with each participant assigned to one of the 3 levels of performed autonomy and one of the 3 levels of imposed mental workload. Our results decisively supported the hypothesis with extreme evidence for lower levels of performed autonomy resulting in higher situation awareness regardless of imposed mental workload. Strong evidence for no increase in cognitive load based on performed autonomy. So our results clearly supported this hypothesis, but it did make an assumption the robot was correct, that it knew the optimal action to take. What if the robot were wrong? In these circumstances, we would guess that performative autonomy would not only see the same benefits, but it would also lead to increased task performance as users would be better enabled to catch the robot's error. Thus, we ran the second experiment to test this hunch. For our second experiment, we made one small change. The robot occasionally misinterpreted which berth was blocked and erred in its judgment of where the cargo should instead be placed. So now we have 4 hypotheses. The same 3 hypotheses from our first experiment should be replicated, and also that the lower performed autonomy should lead to increased task performance. Here's what we found with 318 between subject participants. This time, the effects of performed autonomy were highly sensitive to cognitive load. Under high workload, only the lowest performed autonomy was helpful. Under medium workload, its benefit went away. And under low load, not only the benefit of low performed autonomy was gone, but moreover, medium performed autonomy was actively harmful. We found that performative autonomy still did not impact perceived mental workload. Finally, we did see positive impacts of performed autonomy on task success. Participants caught more errors and were able to do so more quickly under lower performed autonomy. In other words, in the second experiment, we found that while performative autonomy did indeed help improve task performance, the extra time and effort participants needed to spend correcting those caught errors may have washed away any situation awareness benefits except those in particularly high workload scenarios. To summarize, we have presented a novel autonomy design strategy we term performative autonomy, in which robots selectively behave as if they have a lower level of autonomy than they are truly capable of, in order to boost teammate situation awareness. Our results suggest that for robots with deserved confidence in their own decisions, performative autonomy may be a valuable strategy for promoting situation awareness without decreasing cognitive load. But that for robots with undeserved confidence in their decisions, performative autonomy may help catch those errors, but may only be effective at increasing situation awareness when underlying task-imposed mental workload is sufficiently high. Yet overall, our results provide strong support for the use of this autonomy design strategy in future critical missions as humanity explores Moon, Mars, and beyond, and open a host of new directions for future research in the service of this goal. Thank you.